According to Maddox, empirical research and scientific data have shown that high school students learn better if they have later starting times for school. In response to that, the school board has set up a program to possibly enforce new starting times next year.
City commissioners passed an ordinance that states establishments selling alcohol, just like the one behind me, can stay open until 4 a.m. if they choose to, although they must abide by the long-standing city policy to stop selling beer, wine, and liquor by 2 a.m. With Tallahassee being the home of two major universities, the availability of Uber as well as the low fare rates have made it easier for tipsy drivers to choose a higher ride over driving themselves. The Tallahassee Police Department believes that Uber has helped reduce alcohol-related accidents as well as DUI arrests.
Due to the falling of oil prices, gas have been at historic lows, which have led consumers for more discretionary spending and a lower price at the pump. However, officials do say that gas will be on the rise again.
Leon County Schools and Neighborhood Medical Center partnered together to open a medical clinic on Ricketts High School campus. The envisioned clinic will offer dental and primary health care services to citizens in the surrounding community. Officials believe that not having direct access to health care can negatively impact a child's learning, and they are hoping to turn that around with the new location on Ricketts High School campus. For News 20 at 5, I'm Danielle Johnson.
The flu is now underway, and as reported by the Emergency Department and Urgent Care Center, the influenza-like illness activity remains above levels seen in previous years. Pharmacy manager Stan Cote provides tips for prevention from the flu.
Just trying to avoid people who have the flu, just taking universal precautions, washing your hands. If you're sick, stay home. Don't affect your whole workplace. Don't affect your classmates.
Annual vaccinations remains the best way to protect yourself from the flu. Individuals over the age of 6 months are encouraged to get flu shots, as it takes up to 2 weeks for effective protection against the virus. Overall estimates for vaccine effectiveness is 59%. Cote voiced the increase in customers who needed treatment for the flu within the past few months.
Especially recently. Usually we see a lot of it between December and January. For some reason, it picked up at the end of February and now March.
Estimates are between 15% and 40% of the population will develop illness from influenza every year.
The Florida Health Department have recently announced that the flu had been regionally spreading in the state of Florida, with Tallahassee being one of the top 4 cities experiencing elevated activity. Although it is late in the season, it is very important that you keep yourself protected from the bug. Medicines like these can help aid in symptoms if you're feeling a bit under the weather. For News 20 at 5, I'm Danielle Johnson.
For the first time in 10 years, a passenger train will stop in Tallahassee. Amtrak and the Southern Rail Commission may be heading down the right track and bringing passenger rail back to Mobile and the Gulf Coast. Since Hurricane Katrina, all modes of transportation crossing the Gulf Coast have been reestablished except for passenger rail. Community Relations Director Sandra Manning believes the return of the train will serve the community in a way that improves development.
This is so great for the community. It means economic development. That's a big push for the City of Tallahassee commissioners. Gain Street has been booming, and lots of activity. Businesses are thriving off of Gain Street. We want to keep that momentum going down the corridor of Railroad Avenue.
There is a demand all over the country for alternatives to interstate driving, which encourages Amtrak ridership. Although there have been concerns of the timely performance of the Sunset Limited, Amtrak made several adjustments, thus breaking ridership records 9 out of 11 years.
Officials say before they can officially bring back passenger rail service to the city of Tallahassee, they must examine the current infrastructure and better understand the rail's economic, cultural, and mobility opportunities. For News 20 at 5, I'm Danielle Johnson.
Since the launch of the popular transportation company Uber, the number of alcohol-related crashes have decreased by 6.5% of drivers under the age of 30. The Tallahassee Police Department believes Uber provides safe options for transportation. Frequent Uber rider Markeith Cromartie expressed why Uber is his number one pick.
As a college student and an avid partier, it's plenty of times where we've had to catch an Uber home to avoid drinking and driving, to avoid, someone potentially getting hurt or getting arrested.
According to research, there are 13,000 DUI-related deaths a year, and the availability and affordability of rides on the Uber network provides residents with an important alternative to drunk driving.
With Tallahassee being the home of two major universities, the availability of Uber as well as the low fare rates have made it easier for tipsy drivers to choose a higher ride over driving themselves.
Although Uber has had a chain of unfortunate occurrences, officials don't want the efforts against DUIs to be overshadowed. Terrence Calloway, chief of police at Florida A&M, expressed how Uber is a safe route to take.
Uber has made the process of drinking a little more easier because people now can have some sense of relief that if they go to a bar, club, or whatever the case might be, and they had just a tad bit too much alcohol and don't feel confident that they can drive home.
Officials believe that ride sharing will continue to decrease DUIs. For News 20 at 5, I'm Danielle Johnson.